It's that time of the year. We are bringing to you Ads 2024 Hall of Fame, a showcase of best campaigns from the year. Today with us is Juneston, Mathana, ECD, Ogilvy. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me here.
Now, Juneston and team came out with a really interesting commercial for Colgate this year, titled "The Daily Grind." I just want to start by asking you, what was the basic insight for the campaign, and how did you take it forward?
Cool. So, before you get into the insight, I think it was important to know what was given to us as a brief that
Brief.
led to that insight, which is very interesting as an observation, right? But there were some facts that went with it, okay, and the facts were pretty alarming, and it almost sort of told us, if I remember the numbers right, that 8 out of 10 Indians are currently suffering from cavities, and that could very well include you and me, right? So it was a little personal in nature to take this brief with that kind of stats. What also came with that kind of stats is, yes, people suffer from cavities for various reasons, and mostly it is due to some calcium that gets depleted every time you snack, or every time you munch, or every time you chew hard stuff. The product, which is Colgate Strong Teeth in this case, had some technology that replenishes that calcium. So we thought it was quite a game changer. If it is true that teeth are losing calcium, here is a product that puts in that calcium to give you strong teeth. We thought it was pretty linear, but why were teeth losing calcium is something that we kept asking people, right? And for some reason, the answer was right in front of us when we were brainstorming. There were a lot of these empty snack packets lying around, and we were like, this is true. We are constantly munching, snacking, eating anap shanap, odd hours may we are eating khare, whether it is chewing gum, whether it is chips, whether it is peanuts. Our mouth is constantly working. And we thought this is very interesting because this is happening right now. And that is how this insight came about, that our teeth are actually weakening because of this behavior of us eating snacks and constantly eating snacks, right? And it was true everywhere we looked around outside this room also, that we stepped out from the brainstorming room, and it was very relatable. It suddenly became a cultural behavior that we were toying around with. And we thought that was an interesting starting point.
And then how did you coming to the other part? How did you then take it forward, the campaign, the insight?
See, the way we do our Colgate ads and everything that we've done in the recent past, it comes from it stems from a human insight, it stems from a category insight, and this time around, it stemmed from a cultural insight. It is all happening around us. So the tone of the film became very important, and we didn't want to sound preachy. कि आप खा रहे हो इसलिए आपके दांत calcium lose कर रहे हैं. That is not the way we wanted to do it. I think the behavior that we were trying to change would only happen if I held the mirror to the consumer. And once I do that, the tonality of that is automatically set. Because then I'm not being preachy, I'm not being overtly funny, I'm showing you things the way they are. Right? And that really was the genesis of the way we scripted this entire campaign, the way we showed a father and a son, and we've taken that relationship forward, and we will be taking those kind of family relationships forward, because I'm worried about my family's health. No, I mean, that's like a non-debatable fact. And the way we did it is, we wanted to show this constant eating and munching from a kid's point of view, because he is the one who's constantly looking and seeing that his dad is always eating, his dad is always munching non-stop. घर पे मेहमान आ गए तो he is eating, बाहर friends के साथ कुछ कर लिया, he is eating, ऑफिस में किसी और का birthday cake कट गया तो my dad is eating. So that concern and that worry, we thought would be interesting to show from a kid's point of view. But the way we wanted to do that is, it has to be endearing, it has to be catchy. Otherwise, just seeing a man eating non-stop is kind of boring. And this is where we partnered with Amit Sharma, our director, who got Siddhant Mago, who was the music director. And we penned down certain lyrics to the song that actually, coupled with a very catchy melody, became the backbone of this entire commercial. The song Date Ghach Ghach became so catchy. We got so much love. We still are getting a lot of love for it. And everything was from the kid's point of view and how a kid would want to tell his dad, ki, Daddy, you're eating a lot. And when I'm saying eating a lot, you're putting your teeth through a lot. And the kid who recommends Colgate Calcium just summed it up as a nice ending for us.
That is there. I was about to move on to it. I was about to ask you about the other theme because the film throws light on our munching habits, and this is across socioeconomic strata, and it's done quite in a unique manner. Like you mentioned, it's neither too preachy nor too over the top funny nor too emotional. It's just like a reflection of the mirror. So, like you had the family father son trope, like you had the reflective mirror kind of idea. Any other themes and tropes that you try to include in the initiative? More or less you answered everything in the last one, but any other theme or trope that you had in mind?
So when we were doing this, and interestingly, we had penned this down. Uh, the concept of the daily grind was always in our minds, but we thought making it even more catchier would be to try and go with a lingo with a very coined lingo. So what I mean to say is that we almost realized that our teeth are working so hard these days. It's almost like हमारा काम खत्म हो जाता है पर दांतों का काम खत्म नहीं होता. It's almost like they are working overtime. We are making them work overtime. So dato ka overtime was a coinage of the same concept that we toyed around with, but we tested that with a few consumers, and it didn't stick as well for some reason. Maybe the coinage was too new, but that was the genesis of the idea. And the daily grind, I think, had a nice ring to it, had a nice sound to it. It was more in sync with me trying to understand what the concept is, because this is our daily life, this is our daily grind. Life ऐसी ही चल रही है हमारी. So that was one anecdote that I thought was interesting to know. And I think largely a lot of time and effort went in crafting the film. While it looks very simple, but crafting the tonality, the
Well,
message of the film had to be made consumable. And that was half the battle won for us.
last year also you did a campaign for Colgate called Sweet Truth. It was again part of our list as well, and again last year's list and very celebrated campaign. And this year again we are talking about the daily grind. So a lot of good work is coming up. I want to know how
Thank
is
you.
the process collaborating with Colgate?
So, thankfully, the clients, and when I say clients, I mean the our partners at Colgate and our partners and our stakeholders, all of us are aligned to the fact that people know what Colgate products are. People know what they do. People know Colgate has been the trustworthy household name for years now, right? And it's a 200 odd years old company here. So Colgate can be trusted blindly. What we want to do is make our communication also as interesting as the product promise. And that is something that we are consciously doing. If we've set our own benchmarks, we are trying to ensure that we don't go below that. So if you've done something with the Sweet Truth, which was more about changing India's habits when it comes to eating sweets and not brushing, getting them to brush at night, that was a larger North Star, a larger ambition. I think with every brief, we are attaching a larger ambition, getting India to change their snacking habits, or rather become conscious of their snacking habits, and also ensure that you brush with Colgate. That is our larger ambition. So with every brief that comes to us, we are attaching a larger North Star and trying to deliver to that. And that has been working out for us.
Interesting. And if we compare these two campaigns, obviously, they roughly it's the same brand. Their insights might be similar, and but how did you take this forward in a different way? These two initiative of yours.
See, my first initiative was about a category truth that India is not brushing twice.
Twice a
This
month.
message, when we all do it, yeah, and shamelessly we all admit it also, right? So that was more a category message. Now that category message, the flag bearer of that message is brand Colgate. It is not a variant of Colgate. It is not Max Fresh. It is not Strong Teeth or Colgate Active Salt. It is India is not brushing, and we are the first ones to make that conversation and getting them to brush twice. When it came to Colgate Strong Teeth, I have a product to sell. I have a product that delivers to certain promise, and a certain need. Calcium loss is happening constantly because of munching. My product has dual zinc and arginine, and it's got a host of such things that replenishes that lost calcium. So it
But
is a product truth that I'm giving you. So that had to be tackled in this one.
Interesting. And then we went about the film. I want to talk about the film. Like you said, it's a very technical film, and it is very evident. The film is shot beautifully, and the music adds on to it. The music team did the great job, and obviously Amit Sharma and Chroma Pictures do great work on the shooting front. So, how was it collaborating with the whole team?
I think it was wonderful working with Amit. It was my first time that I worked with Amit. I've pitched to him in the past. So seeing him work was like seeing a magician perform his tricks, but just being backstage. So you know all that went into it, right? It was wonderful to also collaborate with Siddhant because we've had different variations and renditions of the song itself, of the lyrics itself. But what was more contemporary is something that Siddhant brought to the table. It almost was Bollywoodish in nature, and it was also a commercial. So it sort of bridged that line between what is mainstream Bollywood and what is mainstream commercial. We arrived at a very sweet spot, is what I felt, which
Yes.
made it more catchy. Even if I'm just listening to it, also, I know the kind of visuals that are coming into my mind because it was lyric. I mean, it was penned down in such a way that the entire story, even if it had to play as a radio spot, you would still get the message. So I think that was the beauty of doing this with Amit and Siddhant.
Uh, Hope to see a collaboration again soon. Great work again on this front. Uh, uh, how have been the results of this commercial? I want to know in terms of recognition and business. Any result parameters that you can share or want to share?
So in terms of numbers and all, it is too
Obviously,
soon, is
obviously,
what I
obviously.
would say.
Yes, yes,
But
yes.
in terms of the kind of love that we've been getting, wherever we've uploaded it on social media handles, the calls that I keep getting from different directors, from different music directors and composers. I never got requests from a music director or a composer in the past. But I think after this, everyone has realized that, you know, good advertising in a boring category can still exist.
Yes.
Toothpaste is a boring category. There's no two ways one can slice that. But what we are trying to do in a boring category is something that people are noticing, and that is our greatest reward so far. Like I said, it is too soon for us to even enter it in different award shows and all, but we're pretty confident it will do as good as it has been doing now. Interestingly, we have also released a rural version of it. If you haven't seen that, you should
Are
take a
those
look at
20
it.
second 20 seconders that you have launched, or is it full 1 minute something only?
It's a longer format also. There are different edits also, but we are
Yes.
targeting the rural market. So a lot
Rural.
of things are changed in there in terms of the craft. If I'm talking about pizza burrata in the urban market, I'm talking about samosas and jalebis and paras in the rural market. That itself was quite an interesting experience to go and meet those consumers and then translate their behavior into a film and show it to them and get the same kind of interaction and love even from our urban consumers, even from our rural consumers. So in a way, we've shot two films. Both have the same melody, but a different storyline, different snacking habits, also showcasing rural snacking habits of our country.
Yes, like we earlier mentioned, the munching habit across socioeconomic strata or across different cities remain constant.
Correct.
I think I saw the 20 seconders of the other ad. I saw the main commercial, the one which is targeted towards tier one towns. Maybe I've seen just the bits of the other one. Also, like we talked about appreciation, and I see a lot of people keep sharing this ad. You receive a lot of love for this ad. But is there any particular comment or feedback that stuck to you or that made you really happy?
Um, from a very different category, I think we got some comments from a lot of food bloggers, right? And interestingly, obviously, there was no denying that it was relatable to them. Uh, I don't remember the exact comment from one, but it was to the effect of it being so relatable to even that kind of audience. So that was one that I recall. And yeah, like I said, lots of questions on who was the music director, who were the lyricists, and then I had to credit the guys which I had already in there. But I'm pretty sure music directors have got their own sort of inquiries happening in their inboxes as well. But I think overall, it has been a fantastic experience working with Amit Sharma, working internally. My bosses, Harshad and Kenaz, have always been so supportive of good work, and a lot of their inputs have also been incorporated. And yeah, I mean, overall, the daily grind is something that is getting picked up even by Impact Magazine. It's a great honor. So that itself is, in fact, one of our first accolades for this year.
So you talked about, so we talked a lot about the ideation and how beautifully it was packaged. A lot of collaboration went behind. The frames were beautiful. The music was beautiful, and I'm sure it was a whole fun exercise. But I also want to know any interesting scenes that happened, any interesting behind the scene moments, any funny things that happened during the set that you want to talk about.
Sure, sure. In fact, I recall this one incident that happened when we were shooting in the local train. There was a sequence where the father and the son, they are in the local train, and the son is just watching the father eat bhajiyas from
Right.
some stranger who's offered him bhajiyas. Yeah. And while we were shooting that, we were in one compartment of the train, and it was crowded. It was filled with the cast and crew, and we were behind the monitor. I remember I was there with Amit, and the other agency people and the clients were in a different compartment because there was no space here. We were literally fighting for space in a cramped area. So my agency producer is getting a little worried now. He's getting a little paranoid. Ki wahan pe kya ho raha hai? Are they getting the right shots, this, that, and all? Because we couldn't really communicate while we were shooting also. As soon as the station came, and in fact, before the train halted, my producer, I think, jumped off, and he's quite a senior person. He jumped off on the platform, came immediately back to our compartment, almost looking worried. Is everything okay? Everything okay? I see Amit Sharma, just catch him by the hand. His name is Divyang. So Amit catches Divyang by the hand, takes him inside, makes him sit next to my main actor. And Divyang is wondering kya hua, and Amit is saying, "Lo chane khao, roll, camera roll," and the camera starts rolling, and Divyang has no idea, and he's just popping chanas. And that made it to the final edit. So I have Divyang, my agency producer, who's debuted. It is his first debut in a Colgate film. He is there in our film, sitting in the local train and eating, munching chanas like so many other people are constantly munching and snacking. So that was something cool to see finally make it to the edit.
Quite interesting. So he has started a new field as well. In a way, you have made him venture into a new space.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got his debut now.
Anything lastly you would like to add about the campaign?
See, I think it was for me personally and for the team here, it was a very interesting insight. Yeah. And before that, it was a very interesting opportunity. Not every day do you get a brief that challenges cultural behavior, especially in a toothpaste category. Again, I just go back to a boring category like toothpaste and oral care. Very rarely do you get opportunities to make the most out of the work that comes out in there and for it to stand out. So we've been taking it very personally because many such opportunities have been presented to us in the past, and I'm pretty sure many such opportunities will come in the future as well. And with each such opportunity, we want to just raise the benchmark, get people talking, get people appreciating the campaign. A lot of love for the campaign is something that we always look forward to, and that has been working and that is something that we are working towards, to be honest.
I think that is something special about Ogilvy, the way they make boring categories interesting. Thank you for joining us. This was Juneston.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you for having me. Cheers. Thank you so much.
डैडी ने खाई बर्फी फिर कट से काटी चकली चबाने में बस चलो बाय।
कंसेंट बनाई टेस्ट कराया लड्डू गज गज गज, फिर बिना वो क्यों स्नैक उठाया बापू गज गज गज। अरे खाए का सट्टा पिज्जा बुरट्टा, थोड़ा सा बिस्किट थोड़ा सा टिटबिट, खाए किताते गुज 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 के दिन भर गुज 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 गुज। डैडी प्लीज, दांतों से जितना काम करवाओगे उतना ही कैल्शियम गवाओगे। कोलगेट स्ट्रॉन्ग टीथ का आर्जिनिन और कैल्शियम बूस्ट, खोया कैल्शियम लौटाए 2 गुना स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाए। कोलगेट स्ट्रॉन्ग टीथ।